This is Dan Max, the trading agent. This is a stock trading and recap channel that I wanted to share to the masses. In a probability game, there's no certainty. Here are my insights and predictions.
This is Dan Max at EXP Realty, aka the Trading Agent, here on Monday, November 29th, 2021. Time is flying. I hope you're having a great trading day, and I hope you had a chance to listen to the weekend updates and the Friday recap. We talked about this might be possible. Nice pop in the market. One of the things that we reiterated was that no one had talked about the symptoms in Omicron and whatever was going on behind the scenes. We talked about in Discord room that it looked like the market was due to pop. Seasonally, Monday the 29th was bullish, on the stock traders almanac, and just in general, we thought whatever was going to happen, the weekend would give a reaction to the governments that would, price in. And again, bullish, bearish, whatever, it just is what it is. We talked about this as a potential, the market's popping in general, finding a rebound because of just simple facts. Things are, the VIX spiked to high levels that it probably shouldn't have way too quickly. So bottom line, if you're listening to the content, you're aware of a lot of the things going on. And if you're not, stop by the Discord room, throw in your input. I love talking about this stuff and debating the probabilities on it because no one really knows anything for sure. But people like myself, friends that are in the trade room, we've been trading cumulatively. We got a lot of years in there. So we've seen a lot of different markets and seen a lot of things go by. So let's jump into it. And I hope people are enjoying it. Like you said, if you're listening to this stuff and you like it, subscribe and share it with your friends. I really appreciate it. Bitcoin. Every time I have a debate with people about Bitcoin, they say it's not technical. And I'm like, man, Bitcoin is pretty technical. It is what it is. It acts in certain ways very similarly to other stocks because it's a supply-demand game. You can't rid the game in general. I mean, it just is what it is. You cannot get rid of that. And so within the market's supply-demand rules, so Bitcoin trades on supply and demand. All right, we talked about 53,300 possibly being the next support once this broke, because you can see it was support. It broke, and I said last week I would not be surprised to see that if we held here and bounced. Now we're at the downtrend. If we break the downtrend, we should go back up to the highs. There's possible resistance right here around 63,000. You can let me clean that up a little bit. 63,000, and then you could, I don't know why you wouldn't go back to 65. So look at it as like a stair step. Everything just moves in the way it's going to move. Straight line moves. You'd love to see it, but typically you're going to, once you break the trend line, now you can start getting excited about getting back into the 60s. I think we're going to get there at some point. Nothing has changed. It is what it is. Let's just, if you're a bull, we talked about it. When we failed to break out, we were going to chop. We said, we had it held there, and then we didn't. And then once we didn't hold the green box, we'd go down to the next area. And so, I draw these before things happen, and we talk about it, At worst, I could see the downtrend here. When it hits that, or I'm sorry, not downtrend, but the uptrend, if it hits that, great. That would be your final line in the sand, as I would call it. I'll draw it in green because if it holds it, it's good. And right now, the downtrend is in red, and it looks like we're breaking it. So just keep it that simple. I think Bitcoin's going higher. I don't see why it wouldn't. We're breaking the downtrend. This is a big cup and handle. I mean, you can see it. Big cup. Big cup. Here's the handle. Chop, chop, chop. Is what it is. If you're a bull, I don't think you should have anything to worry about. Let's get into RIVN real quick, because we talked about this on on Friday, that if we saw a retest of this level, we'd be buying it, and we got the retest. I didn't personally play it, but we talked about it in the chat room. If you were watching it, the 106 area, it looked like it was forming like a little W pattern, and it ended up being such. So we're holding up. Here's the thing about patterns like this, you'll want to see the W, but hey, it could always retest. So just keep that in mind. At this point, I don't think it will unless the market gets slammed. But, there's your W. So it looks to me like it's going to go higher. RIVN looks like it's going higher. Just keep it that simple. Roblox. This is another one we've talked about taking profit on and just kind of letting it play out. We said the 2 times range was going to be the main goal for our trades. If you were in anywhere down in this 70s, 80s range, you take your profits, and now you can kind of watch it. I said now short term, there's a primary trend line. Just keep that in mind. That's as long as it holds above it, it's good. We held it today. Looks fine. Could we see an M pattern? Yeah. Again, V tops, V, whatever, upside down V bottoms, they don't happen a lot. This whole belief that you see that is just, I don't know what planet people are on when they think this stuff, but that's just not the reality. EXPI, the company I'm representing here, I like it here in the 35 range. It looks pretty solid. Fill this gap and hold, you're good. I mean, there's really nothing else to say. The dollar, other than if you buy EXPI, have a stop. The dollar, what do we say? We get into this blue zone, resistance zone. We've gotten to it and we backed off. Today's action really wasn't bullish. It looked like, we popped and we didn't really find any buyers or sellers. It just held flat. So at this point, I think the dollar may have topped, but it could go retest the highs. The TLT was interesting today because it gapped down and closed near the highs. I really think rates are going lower versus higher, which would mean the TLT would be going higher. So if you think the TLT is going higher, rates going lower, then today's action, it looked pretty bullish. I mean, you opened at the lows and closed at the highs. I think we got a lot of room up here. I think somewhere in time we get back, let me clean this chart up. We're going to get back into the 150s, maybe 160s. I would not doubt it. I'm looking to buy properties as soon as rates get lower. I mean, I want to get that lock in that long-term rate, anywhere between, I guess you could say, that would be kind of the next target range. There's so much here. Let me clean this out. You can see it. I have it better drawn on my other charts, but yeah, I think the first target's going to be up here in the, mid 155s. That's what I would look for. I would just keep that pretty simple. You can see if we're breaking the downtrend in red here. So I know this is a dirty chart, real dirty. But TLT is kind of wild. I mean, let's clean this trend line out because I think we're going to hold over it. This is the green ones, all that matters now. Break the downtrend here, and we should go. So if that's happened, rates go lower. Market should hold up fine. Now, here is why I thought, again, the market might pop today. The VIX. We got into crash risk. I don't think the market's at a crash risk right now, especially with these variants. They don't seem to be that important. I think a bigger risk would be what happens to the tax policy or what happens with some of the subsidizing of spending coming up. As long as the feds are still loose and pumping money and the government's going to stay loose, I don't see anything changing here. It's just how long it runs up. I mean, I'd look into the seasonality. I think there's going to be a Christmas, Santa Claus rally and the January effect. After that, we will see. The markets are going to get a little more volatile. We'll get into that when the time comes. I'll get into the Markets and Motions by Ned Davis Research and look at like this years ending in 2 and 7 and also just kind of inflationary markets. You can see it's going to be volatile next year. I have no doubt. The SPY, we said the 20-day fail. Well, we popped today and it dojied up right under the 20-day. This is what's tough. It looks like an M top, but I just always worry that, you want to get bearish, but as soon as the VIX spikes that high that quickly, that just sucks for bears because you want a slow drip. I know bears like to see straight line moves down, but straight line moves down get bought. That's not what you want to see. So at this point with the VIX where it was and where it's going, it looks like the market might chop a little bit. So this'll play out as it's going to play out. But I would at this point, I'm pretty neutral. If you have shorts and you didn't take them, because we talked about this. If you were in the Discord room Friday, said the action intraday was looking like somebody who knew something, and that's where when we came down, was it the close on into the market? The candles got really small. They got really, really small. We started dropping, and then boom, it just got really tight the last little bit. And then we closed, where we closed around 4, what was the close yesterday? On Friday. Yeah, 459. It just didn't feel bearish to me. It just didn't. I don't know what ultimately, people were thinking, but you had the gap down, you had the pop, and then you had like this crazy, close, but it just compressed. Something seemed funny. You can see it better maybe on the 10-minute chart. We'll get into it another day, but just keep it simple. It popped. Omicron, we don't know how bad it is. I doubt it's going to be that bad. It's just another reason to scare people and the feds to pump money and then bail everybody out. I mean, till that changes, and we'll talk about what ultimately changes, and I think it's higher rates, but I don't think we're there yet. So here's the cues, and this is what we said. If it gets back over the 20-day, it's bullish. Well, guess what? You got back over the 20-day on the cues. So we'll see what happens. Maybe it turns into some head and shoulders pattern. We'll see. I mean, at this point, again, I'm not shorting because of the seasonality, but there are opportunities. But if you think the markets are going to tank, then you're going to need some news. And at this point, I don't know what that news is. There are some things going on with the debt ceiling coming up, but at this point, I don't know. I'm keeping it pretty simple. Gold, we've been talking about this. Man, we are at the alert buy zone. You have to hold this trend line. Keep your stops tight. 166s are a freaking buy. Just, it's that simple. The GDX, again, what do we say? The 50-day. You held it again. It looks like it's breaking the trend, but this is what's kind of sneaky sometimes is look at these wicks. This could be a bear trap. And sometimes you get, that's why trend lines, you pay attention to them. But sometimes they look above them. I mean, you could see it here. You saw it there. I mean, I know the closes are under them, but just keep that in mind. This might be a trap. I think it is ultimately because when you break the trend lines, typically you break with volume. They're not breaking with volume. They're just holding high and tight. So just keep that in mind because this is where we're going to get into some of the miners. They look pretty strong today. AG, I mean, look at this volume. I mean, it backtested the downtrend. Down channel and held. That looks bullish to me. KL announced they're going to merge with AEM. If you look at the action all day, it just held the 200-day area. There was no selling. It was amazing. Like we opened up here, we dropped down, and it was just flat. I mean, we just couldn't get away from 40, and it looked like someone was absorbing the inventory. So keep that in mind. I'm not sure where, but we'll get into some of the other miners in time. Silver, man, I keep putting out the story on this one. And it's just like you were buying it at this blue zone, and this blue zone is historically the major support resistance. Could it get back down into the low 20s? I think it could. But if you're ready to start buying, I can bless that. It looks like a head and shoulders pattern. Here's the left shoulder, here's your head, right shoulder. I would keep it that simple. I don't think it's looking too bad. Silver's tough. SLV stuff, JP Morgan, they're a bunch of fucking assholes. That's enough. US Steel, this is interesting because we had this downtrend. It bounced up to it, didn't close over it. Now we closed nearer the lows today. Again, the volume is just dirt. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. This thing can be wild and loose. I mean, you saw this. You've seen this. I mean, steel prices are going higher. I don't see them dropping. So at this point, just have a plan. If you own it, have a plan. It looks like a big W. I like it long term. I think in time it will go higher. The commodity war is coming. Good old AMD. This thing has just got 9 lives. I mean, it just keeps holding up along this red trend line. I like it to sell it, but okay, guess what? If it wants to break out and go even more parabolic, because I mean, 100 to 150 isn't enough. Let's go up to 180, 200. I don't know. I mean, it's just crazy. If I'm long it, I'm taking profits because I like to take my profits before the markets do. But strength to strength, it is holding up. Give it props when it's due. Apple. So once you broke the downtrend, the pop, it was funny because I was starting to do more research on Apple, and I was like, why did it just stop where it did? And if you connect all of these tops, you go, oh shit, that's why, because that's the top of the channel on the monthly. So bottom line, it looks like Apple's taking a break short term. I think it could get back up to the top of that range. This channel is not the same as that one that I just drew. I mean, that other one is, I think you can eyeball it. Oh, these, no. Anyway, it's a little harder sometimes on the daily. But yeah, I mean, as long as it holds up. Yes, Friday's action, light volume, it was bullshit. I could see it getting back up in the 170s. I would keep it simple. Watch the upper trend line. Know all your charts. Know all your time frames. MicroStrategy. This one was one of those earnings just smash downs. It closed at the 200-day. We said watch this thing because if it got back to this trend line, it was an absolute buy. But now Bitcoin bottom. So as a surrogate for Bitcoin, keep an eye on this kind of thing because it looks like it moves with it. And if Bitcoin's bottoming, this thing can get back to 900 before you know it. Good old Tesla. 20-day. We just keep talking about it. It closed over it. And again, I'm not shorting it, but I kept telling people if you take profits up here, you're not going to regret it. This chop makes it tough. I don't know if you can look for better trades in the market, but at this point, it's just hanging around. There's nothing really else to say. PENN, it keeps testing this 51 area. It seems to be holding up. I like it long term. I like it, especially with a stop. It's real simple. XOP, this one's interesting because of oil and releasing the strategic oil and petroleum reserve. Friday's action was a big drop, but then we were between the 50-day and sandwiched between this little support zone. So today's candle, just go with. If you get over the 50-day, you're going higher. If you go below this, you're probably going lower. I would keep that one real simple. Good old PAAS. Where are we at? Holding the 50-day. There's nothing really bullish or bearish out right now. I like its retesting and holding the 25 zone. It looks pretty solid. FNV, this is one of the bigger gold miners. They acted really well today. I had an engulfing bar. I was watching that. So, again, watch all the miners. This one's Silv. It's a little silver crest. It looks pretty good. It's holding up inside. Silge. Even though silver was down, it held up. It did not make a lower low. I like Silge actually somewhere in the under 13 anytime. Royal Gold. We could pop through all of these real quick. Holding the 50-day, they all look pretty good. I know the miners are going to do what they're going to do, but at this point, I like it. I think these things are worth buying here. Just keep it that simple. And let's end on ExxonMobil because it's always a good place to end. It looks like at this point it's in a chop. You can confirm the chop ending by breaking the downtrend. At this point, it could go anywhere between 63 and 60 and just chop. Nothing there. Who knows? But just watch it. Sometimes these things compress. All right, this is Dan Max at EXPI Realty, a.k.a. the Trading Agent. If you've listened this far, please smash the like, subscribe, throw in a comment. I love to answer comments and questions. I really do. If you have a concern, a thought, come by the Discord room. There's newer people every day dropping in. They're asking questions. We're all trying to help each other out, get an edge. In general, trading by yourself is typically how it goes because you have to hit the enter button. But sometimes it's really good to cheat off other people's notes. That's how I've always looked at it. If someone has an edge that I'm not aware of but makes me aware of and I make money, I'm very appreciative. So anyway, I hope everyone has a great day. Stop by the Discord room. Let's chat. I will see you guys later.
Thanks for watching. Please subscribe if you like the content. Also smash the like button, share with your friends, and add a comment. If there's a topic or stock you'd like me to give you insight about, let me know in the comment section. I'll do my best to answer your question. Thanks.